Just finished watching the Arsenal match against Rangers for pre-season. Yeah, not really going to talk about football too much because we are a book channel, but yeah, it's something to do in lockdown. So I've just spent the morning finishing off the hidden history of Burma. Yeah, really fascinating, eye-opening, and frankly depressing sort of read. Um, there's a lot of issues that is going on with Burma, and I'm not sure they can be solved by any sort of um, intervention. There's just so many long-lasting and terrible issues that are going on there. This book finishes just when the pandemic was kicking off, so it doesn't include anything about the current wave of protests and the coup d'etat that was done in February of this year. So hopefully the myint-u, it's another book about all that sort of stuff kicking off, because I'm sure it will be. Yeah, apart from that, it's just a lovely blue sky day. If you didn't know, probably wouldn't think that it is winter. Yeah, that's me done for today. Probably just gonna clean up my flat, do some more reading, and procrastinate looking at my uni coursework. So it is 10 to 11 on Sunday night, same day as I finished The Hidden History of Burma, and I've more or less finished The End of Men by Christina Sweeney-Baird in one sitting. I thought it was really phenomenal. I think it was a fantastic debut. Probably the wrong time to be reading a book about a plague that only targets men and kills off 50% of the population. More or less 9 out of 10 men die. Knowing my luck, I'd probably be one of the first to go. Yeah, so this was actually written and finished before the pandemic, as it says in the prelude. So the author has fantastic timing. I really enjoyed the characters within it. Amanda was phenomenal. She's this no-nonsense, hard-talking Glaswegian doctor. I think a lot of the institutional biases that, I'll be honest, I don't necessarily face in my jobs are really explored in this novel. And yeah, it really it's not necessarily elevating one gender above another or all that sort of stuff, but it does explain that, it does talk about how we are all human. Like, one of the doctors develops the vaccine in the book and sells it for money rather than giving it away, because why not? At the end of the day, you still have to make money. So I think it was a really, really fun debut. I'm excited to see what comes next. And I will see you for the next one. Well, good afternoon. I took a rather long morning in bed, mostly because I went to bed or went to sleep at like 2 a.m. So here I am. Just gotten up, had a shower, and my flat's a mess. So today we are going to be cleaning it and probably finishing off my next read. So it's a bit later in the day. I say a bit later. It's almost 8 o'clock at night. And a bit of a slow day for reading. I'm going to manage to finish 2 books. I say 2 books, but they're not really books. So the first one was The Fourth Island by Sarah Palmy. It's about it's this really dark, not dark as in like the content material, just the prose is very dark, and it does this really great exploration of despair and the impacts of personhood and grief and loss. It's about this island in the Aran Islands off Ireland that can only be found if you're lost, per se. So it's populated by lost people. There's someone from Tom Cromwell, set in the 1840s, this book, so it's about 200 years. Deals with religion and small villages and that sort of stuff. And then the other one was Dante's Love That Moves the Sun and Other Stars. Now, I will preface this. I've not actually read anything by the great Dante Alighieri. And to be honest, probably should have. I think most of this comes from the third book of the Divine Comedy, Paradiso. And having not read any of it, I felt quite lost while reading it. However, I asked my friend to pick a book from my list of unread books. And that's what he picked, so I did it. Yeah. See if it's me, although it'd be a bit weird if it wasn't me, but it is what it is. Finished another book today. It's 3. It's now 11 p.m. at night. Dinner was lovely, as you saw. So we have Prepare the Cabin for Landing by Alan Wern. It's a book of Australian poetry. Alan was a lecturer of mine way back when, my first year of university. After my first year, he moved to Melbourne. His poetry is very interesting, to say the least. Some lovely turns of phrases. And I think it really represents Australiana that is not talked about anymore. It's this very... It's not like ochre sort of literature, but it's not the contemporary Australia. It's just sort of... It's a bit like Lewis Wolston. It's the Australia that slips through the cracks and doesn't get a lot of mainstream representation. Yeah. I've got another book of his because I try to buy as much as I can from the people who teach me. Not sure when I'll be reading it next, but next up, I've got my friends to decide. We are doing Philip Pullman's Fairy Tales from the Brothers Grimm, a New English version. I won this in a class I had. So... Hello again. It is now 7 past 12. Was Tuesday night. It's now Wednesday morning. I promise I don't just read books late at night and record these late at night. It's just I get a lot more reading done at night than in the morning. So I've just finished Philip Pullman's Fairy Tales from the Brothers Grimm, a New English version. While there's not as much commentary by Pullman as some people would like, that's not me. So it's more just translations, blending of different versions of the story to make it more legible and more easily accessible to more of a general public. Because I've not actually read any Brothers Grimm. I'm familiar with like the Disney-fied versions and sort of the versions that have ended in popular media and been parodied to death, but not like closer to the original source. Fun story about this book. I was in a class, I think it was not text and contest. Maybe it was called Writing Representation and Power. Potentially, I was in my fourth year because I was still on campus as opposed to being on Zoom tutorials, and it was pretty much do the 30-point hero's journey for the Goose Girl. So I did it, and the lecturer, the wonderful Joshua Lobb, who wrote, what's it called? I lent out my copy. Fighter Birds. I didn't lend out my copy. Gave this out as a prize. Between you and me, I was hoping for the prize for the other week. There was a hat prize. It was like a critical dictionary. At the time, I wanted the critical dictionary because it seemed useful. So what I did was I designed a thinking cap. So my thinking cap was just like a paper crown with a bunch of those little like mini alcohol bottles. He said in good faith he couldn't give it to me, which I was fair. But having put off reading this for a while, and now reading it, I have to say, I think this is probably better than a critical journal. So I will see you tomorrow for potentially some more reading up. Well, it's me back again. Pretty much after I finished the Philip Pullman one, I couldn't really figure out what I wanted to read next. So I tallied up how many books I have in my flat that are unread. It's 359. out of 1120, and asked my friends, hey, can you pick some numbers? So they did. So here is one of them that I smashed out this afternoon. It is Gary Larson's Unnatural selection. I think it's the 12th Far Side collection. I think I've read Far Side before, but can't really remember which one I've read, but it's quite funny. Some of the comics are dated. Obviously, it's from '91, which is even before my time, but it was fun. And then someone else picked out Touched by God, how he won the Mexico '86 World Cup by Diego Armando Maradona and Daniel Achucci. I'm about 100 pages in. It's quite interesting because, I mean, Maradona is one of the greatest footballers. Is he the undisputed of all time? I'm not too sure. I mean, Pele, Messi, Carl Jenkinson. But yeah, it's a really fascinating insight into the man that he was, R.I.P. And just the preparation, like the difference of preparation that went into football between then back in '86 and now in 2021. So I will probably try and finish this tonight. I've got a Zoom thing for my birthday, so I'm not sure about tonight because I might be having a few brewskis. Or otherwise I'll finish it tomorrow and I'll get back to you with my thoughts. Well, me again. Bit later than I thought it'd be. Feeling a bit dusty from last night. Finished the Maradona book. I think it was very interesting. Obviously, when you are as supremely talented as Diego Maradona was, the way that you talk about yourself and football would be different to, say, me talking about football or someone who is not arguably one of the greatest of all time. And I think, like, it's not, he's not humble, but he's not arrogant. It's just, he is Maradona. Like, you get that sort of comparison when Pele has done interviews as well. It's just the way that they talk, their skill level is just light years beyond what anyone else is. I mean, there's a fascinating insight into the World Cup because there's politics involved with potentially sacking the coach, government disputes, and then you have the whole stuff with the Falklands War as a backdrop to the England-Argentina game. And yes, Maradona does admit he hit it with his hand of God, as you can tell. Not too happy about that one, Diego. Yeah, I think it was a different sort of football biography. Yeah. See you next time. Hello. As you can tell, quite well dressed. Just finishing up posting some Zoom trivia and Jackbox for the evening. So to get this book done beforehand. Next week after, a few drinks. So, Sally Rooney's Normal People. I really enjoyed Conversations with Friends when I read it earlier in the year, and this one is just so good. I didn't want to finish it because I just wanted to live in the world of Connell and Marianne so much. It's just the writing and the tone, just everything about it. And I think because I am a creative writing student who has had issues with intimacy and love and all that jazz and being a bit of a weird guy, I think it was just really nice and sweet. I'm probably going to watch the TV show. Haven't watched it yet, but yeah, it looks good. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's faithful, I don't know if it's not faithful, but if it's anything like the book, I'm sure I'm in for a treat. So that is now another one done for the week, and we'll see you tomorrow when I will do a bit of a haul. Yeah, that should be it. Good evening for our final update of the week. First of all, finished the Dark Tale graphic novel, The Long Way Home. Long Ride Home, sorry. Huge fan of The Dark Tower. I cannot speak enough of it. I am at some point hoping to get The Man in Black Fled Across the Desert and The Gunslinger Followed as a tattoo somewhere. I have money. Yeah, this series is phenomenal. If you haven't read it, go out and read it. Just don't watch the film. And in terms of a birthday book haul, I got, among other things, including these 24. I'm now terrifyingly 24. Balloons. I got an ottoman. Got a lot of beer. Always a good thing in lockdown. I got this lovely hardcover Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. When I first read Catcher in the Rye, I wasn't a huge fan of Holden, as many people are, but it's been almost 2 years since I first read it, and my thoughts on Holden have softened an awful lot. I'm still not going to be rushing back to read it per se, but my thoughts are, yeah, they're not bad. And then we also got the book of Trespass by Nick Hayes. I work in a bookstore, and a customer tried to order this in. Couldn't get it in time because of COVID, but I ordered in a copy for myself. And so it's a non-fiction title, and it's all about, breaking through fences and waterways and all the things that divide us into the hidden parts of the UK. And I think it's really interesting because it visits like people who do it legally, illegally, and like how and why certain parts of the land are divided up the way it is. I think that's really fascinating. So that is me done for the week. 10 pieces of literature done, which is shocking and astonishing. I didn't think I'd do it. See you next week.